See if we can get this to focus. So this is a basic Chinese carbon handlebar, which I cut in half. I recently got a new bike. I took this off my old bike. I was going to put it on the new bike, but I decided not to. Not for any specific reason. I didn't have any issue with the handlebars, but you know, I paid less than $50 for these handlebars, so I thought, you know, I don't expect a long life out of them. I didn't know if they were going to be subject to any fatigue, accumulated fatigue, but I thought, you know, let's take them off and just cut them up and see what they look like. So you can see those are just wrinkles from the molding process. Well, I say just. Some people don't like those. Some people don't care. I think even if you were going to cut up some major brand frames from, let's say, the earlier part of this decade, you would have observed things like this, right? So mostly there's just wrinkling. If you look at the let's see if I can get this to focus. I don't think it's going to focus all that well. If you look at the lamination, the carbon here on the actual wall, inside and outside, through the laminate itself, it's solid. And I looked at this fairly closely all the way around, and I couldn't see any voids in there. However, I don't know if this is going to show up on the camera, but there are some little things like this. So this you might think is a void, but I don't think so. I think that's just a resin-rich area, so that's a bubble of resin in there. But this feature here, which is less visible to the camera, I believe is a tiny void, probably on the first few layers of the laminate. So that I don't like, right? That's the only thing that I saw in here that really concerned me. So this is a drop bar. The way drop bars are made, they have the flats are one piece and then the drops are another piece. At least this is how carbon drop bars are made for the most part, and they're glued together. So that gray stuff you see there is an adhesive, and I would say so. A lot of frames are made this way too, where the front diamond is one continuous piece and the back diamond is another piece that's glued on with adhesive. I am accustomed to seeing from major manufacturers, I would say, like a paucity of adhesive, and all this extra adhesive would not exist. But also, it's common to see not enough adhesive. This is adhesive fill right here. And you can see right here is a void. And there's a little bit of a void right there. So there is, but over here, this is clean, and on the other side, you know, is all filled with adhesive as well. So that's pretty good. That's pretty solid. Let's take a look at the other half. I can get it over here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this stand up so we can look at it. So you can see there is a void. I don't really care about that. That's excess adhesive that's been extruded. But that looks like a pretty clean joint. So I didn't know what to expect when I cut this up. And I have to say that overall this is not too bad, but a handlebar is a pretty low-tech solution, right? So this is okay. I don't regret the fact that I cut it up, because I think I got some good information from this. Would I hesitate to buy another set of handlebars like this? I think Probably not. If I knew they were going to be this quality, certainly I would not hesitate to buy another set of handlebars. One thing I will say, and this has nothing to do with the structural integrity of the handlebars, but if you look right here, this is a little piece of the bladder that's left in there. So that has absolutely no impact on the structural integrity of the handlebars or how strong they are or whether or not they're going to break. But if you, I will say, if you're routing cables through the handlebar, features like that are a real pain in the ass. Now, there was no way to route cables through these handlebars, so that doesn't matter, but that's something to be aware of. And I hear that a lot from people who have bought Chinese handlebars and try to route cables through the interior of the handlebar, that there's often little pieces of bladder in there like that. So that's something to be aware of. But in terms of, you know, any obvious structural shortcomings in bars in this bar, there are none that I could see, except for these very small little top layer laminate voids on the inside. And maybe I should cross section this again and take a look at that and see what those actually look like. But anyhow, cut up Chinese handlebar for your viewing pleasure.